I'll be demonstrating the query that uses order by. The query is now successful and has displayed the items on the table. What this query does is it displays orders from the latest state to the earliest state. How this query is useful is that it helps the supplier to know when their customers ordered various items. I'll be demonstrating the query that uses the self-join function. The query is now successful and has displayed the results below. This query is useful. The function of this, what this query does is it shows which suppliers supply specific items to specific clinics. This query is useful because it is used to check which supplier the clinics use to get the items. I will be demonstrating the query that uses inner join. The query is now successful and the results have been shown in the table below. What this query does is it joins the supplier table and the facility table. It is useful because it shows full details of the supplier. I'm demonstrating the query that uses partial matching in the where clause. The query is now successful and the results have been shown in the table below. What this query does is it searches through a table for a term that is similar to the input to get the desired output. It is useful because partial matching is used to search for items whose name has been forgotten. I'll be demonstrating the query that uses subquery in the where clause. What this query does is it connects different tables to a merged output. I'll be demonstrating a query that uses an aggregate function. What this query does is it uses an aggregate function that checks for an item with the least quantity. This query is useful because it helps to check which items are of the least quantity. I'll be demonstrating a query that uses a subquery as a relation. What this query does is it runs and collects data from one query and then uses that data in another query. It is useful because the subquery as a relation can be used for auditing purposes. I'll be demonstrating a query that uses the group by and having clauses. What this query does is it groups the customers by their suppliers and displays the supplier and how many customers they have using the count function. This query is useful because it helps the suppliers to know how many customers they have. I'll be demonstrating a query that uses a subquery as a relation. What this query does is it runs and collects data from one query and then uses that data in another query. It is useful because the subquery as a relation can be used for auditing purposes.